Hi, in this video I'll help you get to know your car a little better. At the end of this video I've put together a straightforward infographic that summarizes all the key points. Like, subscribe and comment below. It really helps.
All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're on a mission to solve a really common and honestly a pretty confusing automotive mystery. If you're a Chevy owner, you might have seen this pop up, and we're here to help you crack the case of the U2143 error code. So picture this. You're just driving, everything's fine, and then bam, that U2143 code flashes on your dashboard. I know that feeling, that little sinking in your stomach, because it just sounds complicated, doesn't it? It can leave you totally lost, wondering where on earth to even start. But don't worry, you are in exactly the right place.
Okay, so what does U2143 actually mean? Let's break it down. In the simplest terms, it's a communication breakdown. You've got this sensor, the steering angle sensor, or SAS, that's constantly telling your car's main computer how you're steering. Well, with this error, that sensor has basically stopped talking to the main power controller. It's like two critical members of a team giving each other the silent treatment, and the whole operation just grinds to a halt. This is a big deal, because that sensor is a vital part of your car's stability control system.
To solve this thing, we've got to treat it like a real investigation. And you know, every good investigation starts by rounding up the usual suspects. So let's take a look at what's typically behind this kind of communication failure. Think of this as our investigation board. It lays out our prime suspects and our first moves. We could be dealing with just a single module that's gone quiet, or maybe a bunch of them are offline at once. You know, the culprit could be something really simple, like the system voltage is off, or it could be a part that just doesn't have the right internal protection. This is our roadmap. We're going to use something called a DTC descriptor list, which is basically just a detailed report card from your car's computer to figure out which parts aren't talking.
Now listen up, because this is absolutely crucial. For all those complex electronics in your car to chat with each other properly, the system voltage has to be in that sweet spot, between 9 and 16 volts. The second it drops below 9 or spikes above 16, that conversation just stops, dead. This right here is so often the smoking gun in these cases, and it's the very first thing you should be checking.
But what if the voltage is perfectly fine? Well, sometimes the problem isn't the power going to the part, but the part itself. Some of these electronic modules, they just lack the proper internal shielding to handle even tiny little power fluctuations, making them another prime suspect in our investigation. All right, we've got our list of suspects. Now it's time to put on our detective hats and actually follow the clues. This is your practical, step-by-step guide to tracking down the real source of the problem. Before we jump in, let's talk about a key piece of our detective kit, the Data Link Connector, or DLC. This is just the port. You'll usually find it under your dashboard where you plug in a code scanner. It's basically how we're going to read your car's mind. It's our main way of gathering evidence. So here's our three-step game plan. Step 1, plug in your scanner and pull up that DTC descriptor list. It's going to tell you exactly which modules are offline. Step 2, if you see a few modules that are offline, start your physical inspection with the one that's physically closest to that DLC port we just talked about. The problem is often closest to the source. And step 3, always check that system voltage. Get a multimeter out and confirm it. Is it in that magic 9 to 16 volt window? So, let's say you've followed the clues, you've done the tests, and they all point to one specific part. Well, this brings us to the biggest fix of all, actually replacing a module. Let's talk about when this is really necessary. This really draws a clear line in the sand between what you can probably do yourself and when it might be time to call for backup. You know, reading codes with a scanner, checking your battery voltage with a multimeter, those are fantastic first steps for any DIYer. But when it comes to physically swapping out a sensitive electronic part or trying to fix an internal issue, that often takes specialized tools and, frankly, a lot of expertise. And here's the most important point. There is absolutely zero shame in calling a professional. In fact, knowing your own limits and getting an expert to help when a job gets too complex is the smartest thing you can do. It just makes sure the repair is done right and, more importantly, safely. We have looked at the suspects, we've walked through the investigation, and we've talked about the potential fixes. I think it's about time we close the case on code U2143 by recapping our key findings. So let's wrap this all up with your final investigation checklist. First, always remember what this problem is at its heart. It's just a communication error. Don't overcomplicate it. Second, go after your number one suspect first. Check that system voltage. Is it between 9 and 16 volts? Third,
Follow the clues methodically, use your scanner's list, and start your search near the DLC. And last but not least, know your limits. If a fix feels like it's over your head, it's time to call in a pro.
And that's it. Case closed on the U2143 error code. You are now officially armed with the knowledge to tackle this problem head-on. So the only question left is the one you see right here. Could the solution to your car's big, complex mystery really be something as simple as a 5-minute voltage check? There's only one way to find out. Thanks for joining me.